Well, okay. Can we just start by asking the question, Rosie? Since we had you on and we just saw you interviewing Leonardo friggin' DiCaprio
Oh, yeah.
the other day. Hot off the heels of one battle after another, which I want to get your take on in a second. Who are the greatest directors of our generation? This is a question I have. And can we do like just like a lightning ranking?
It's a wild question. Just to come on I thought we were going to hear about how Leo smelled and what it was like to.
No, it's a very neutral situation when you're at a press junket. You're not getting that close to people.
Okay.
Right.
But
I didn't know the thing. I didn't know the thing about his dad being a big comics icon.
Yes. So his dad, George DiCaprio,
it
was an underground cartoonist. I mean, still is a cartoonist. He was friends with Robert Crumb.
Wow.
Big in the underground, subversive kind of comics with an X scene. And because Leo and his family are from the South Bay, his dad is really well known. He's friends with this guy.
The LA South Bay.
The LA South Bay, yeah. So so basically under LA, that kind of like Long Beach, Torrance area, especially there was a shop called a shop in Torrance that was called Jeffrey's, owned by a guy called Jeffrey, and there's Jeffrey Senior and Jeffrey Junior. And Jeffrey Senior, there was like photos of him and George all around. That was like one of his local spots.
Interesting.
So in the lead up to the interview, which was for kind of Den of Geek, and we ended up posting on XRV too. The main thing I was thinking is like in an interview like that, you get 4 minutes, literally.
Right.
It's a 4-minute interview for a junket. Leo barely ever does them, and he was comboed with Benicio del Toro.
Whoa.
So I was like, spent like a couple
Ocean
of
waves.
weeks. Yeah, few small little beers, and and we were just thinking for like 2-3 weeks leading in, like, what can I ask Leonardo DiCaprio that is actually going to get like an answer in a junket setting. Because and I do these all the time. Like, you can get great stuff, especially for a written piece. I did a written piece based on my junket interviews. It was really lovely, felt very like whole, because it was those two, and then it was the 3 leads, Chase Infinity, Tiana Taylor, and Regina Hall. And so like you can get good stuff. But yeah, I was really thinking about it. But after I saw the movie, and it's such like a dad core movie, that like me and Nick were just talking about it, and we're like, oh shit, like his dad's a cartoonist. Like, I'll just ask him about that. Like,
smart.
And then the other clip, which I think, I don't know if they shared it on socials, but that was in my written in piece that I did about it, was just afterwards I followed it up. I had 2 options to follow it up for Benicio. I was like, okay, well, if he asks me if there's like a specific question I have for him that's like really weirdly not been heard before, do I have one? And I actually did, because years and years ago I was working at the comic shop in London on May 4th, Star Wars Day, and I was fully dressed as an Ewok, like a whole costume, right? And it's in the lead up to The Last Jedi coming out. I think it's in production. And Benicio del Toro came in with his wife and his kid,
Wow.
And his kid wanted to look at comics, and I was helping her. And after like the whole thing, his wife at the end was like, "Why are you dressed as a bear?" And I was like, okay, so, and I explained it, and she just looked at me like I was such a loser. So I was like, you know what, I could definitely talk about that. But in the end, the cool thing about Benicio del Toro is his parents were actually both criminal lawyers. So, so I asked him about that, and how like he felt like his dad's experience kind of shaped this film particularly. But hilariously, the best thing he said, which is a true legend about him, and I've now had confirmed, is he said, yeah, it's great, especially in this movie about politics, but he was like, the best thing my dad taught me is actually like how to drive, because his dad had a massive American car, like a boat. So he is known, Benicio del Toro, on sets as like the best actor driver. Like, he can park any car. And he told that story, and he kind of explained how like
that's great.
He'd been saying it to Leo, and like that was something directors know, like that motherfucker can parallel park like a Cadillac on like a studio set. Like, he's ready.
Amazing.
So that's was the
really
other
funny.
side of it, which
That's
was
great.
Which was really cool. Yeah, it was a really it was a great interview, and
you did a great job. You crushed it.
I appreciate it. You got to think a long time about those ones, because
yes.
it's like I've interviewed a lot of incredible people, but That one is the one where I've had people reaching out from like primary school and like
Right.
family members reaching out.
Totally.
And like,
Yeah, totally.
yeah, in-laws reaching out. I think because like Leonardo DiCaprio is a modern kind of like superstar.
Yeah, there's
you
no
know,
one.
there's
He's
no
a
one
category
else. Like,
of one.
It's him
yeah.
and Martin Scorsese. You know,
Yeah,
like,
which is
it's
why
on that level. Of
which is
kind
why
of,
it was surprising he was doing all the press he was doing and doing TikToks with Chase Infinity.
I know.
And all
I
this
think
stuff.
that was really Chase.
Yeah.
I think Chase's like energy and vibrancy, and as you see in the movie, like her performance is so incredible. I think, you know, I have a friend who used to work in movie PR, and they were saying, you know, PTA doing a TikTok before this movie was unimaginable. Like it would never happen. But obviously, again, that is now you have him doing them, and you have. I think it's really driven by having that young person who understands it, and also helps that like Tiana Taylor's an incredibly famous superstar and is also a great dancer and stuff. So she's very aware of it.
Yeah,
so I
she's
think those two together and the understanding of like, and I mean, it was an incredible campaign. Like,
yes, it was. They really went for it.
Went
yeah.
everywhere, which for like a, you know, they had to because it cost like $130 million.
Yes.
But for a lot of movies like this, Wes Anderson, PTA, those are usually the guys where we go, well, it doesn't really matter if they make
they have
money.
their audience.
Like that's
yeah.
like Wes Anderson's movies are not out here making $1 billion.
This is different.
But you're always gonna find something like that. But this is like an accessible blockbuster Hollywood movie made by an auteur, which I think is one of the most interesting things.
That's
about
a great category. I will drop because I don't think I can't imagine it's going to come up very often on the pod again. I've met George DiCaprio, Leonardo DiCaprio.
I did not know that.
Leonardo DiCaprio's dad. So Leonardo DiCaprio came to the film came to the film festival I threw on the South Lawn, South by Southlawn.
South by
in
Southlawn.
I was invited to, but I was not.
Which Matt likes to point out that his wife got to go to, and that he did
I
not get to come.
love that. That's so good.
And the main event was Leo was doing a climate documentary that with that he like had a conversation with President Obama with. But anyway, because like I was sort of the primary point of contact, President Obama wasn't going to go out with Leonardo DiCaprio after the event, so I was invited as a stand-in, which is always what people want when they want Barack Obama and they get me instead.
You know what? It's not that much of a bad trade-off, honestly. Like in the world of trade-offs, it's like I think that it's not too bad.
And if you squint, like you can barely tell us apart, frankly. Like, you know, it's like, hello.
In the back of a dim, you know, Frank and Musso's or wherever.
Yeah.
Like.
So it was George DiCaprio's birthday, the day of South by Southlawn. And so we got invited to the dinner they were having for him. And we showed up around the dessert time. And they put down like a big cake like in front of him for his birthday. And like I was just like, I was very drained. It was a day I had basically not slept for 2 days.
I mean, you were working at the White House.
I was right, and it was like, and I was like producing this event, so I was like doing like tech rehearsal the night before, and like all this. It was, and I don't like doing live events at all, so I was like
incredibly stressful.
Yeah, I was operating without neurotransmitters. And they put down this cake, which is like George DiCaprio's birthday cake, and like sort of without thinking, I just like reach in and grab like the first slice. So I ate Leonardo DiCaprio's dad's birthday cake.
Wow, this is incredible, Jason. Lore drop.
Jason Lore, yeah.
Was it Cuba? Was it a Cuba cake? Or?
I really don't even remember what the cake was.
You're like, I just needed some sugar.
I just needed calories if I was going to make it any
like
further.
Put your hand in George DiCaprio's face. Get out.
Yeah, no, man.
You
this
just
cake's
like
for me.
bumped his head down into it, like they're really into doing to kids nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh man!
But he seemed very gracious. He seemed unperturbed. So.
I heard he's like he's generally has a.
He seemed like a sweet guy.
Super chill guy. Cool. Still hilariously looks like an underground cartoonist.
100%.
Which
very
I
much
love.
does. Yes.
100%.
It's like everyone's like, I didn't know that, but when you see him, like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. He looks like a crumb drawing.
Yeah, exactly. And it was nice to do a junket like that, and like when I asked Leo, when I asked about his dad and then said, underground cartoonist, his eyes like went a little bit wider, and I was like, okay, good. I don't think we have, because you always like research, see what other interviews they've done, and I had never seen him talk about that specific aspect. So no, it was great. And I mean, that was a crazy request to do that junket, because
that's awesome.
I didn't even know.
We
didn't even know if we would get him. So it was great. I appreciate you guys.
You deserve it, and all everything else, all the more.
Yes, we love talking to cool people. But yes, who are your favorite directors.
Well,
Yeah.
For me, this is super interesting because, somebody triggered me by talking about Denis versus PTA.
Oh.
So I just ran over to ChatGPT real quick. And so I said,
Scandalous.
who we got? Greatest
guys,
directors.
I got to say it. I just need you guys to know so I can keep my credibility in the comics community. I do not use ChatGPT, guys. I do not support AI, but I support you guys' choice to use it. I just need to say it.
I am using it. I'm using it definitely as a tool periodically to help me get stuff done. But
that's what people are doing.
It came back with PTA, QT, Fincher, Sofia Coppola, Wes Anderson, Aronofsky, Linklater, Denis, which they didn't have in the list. I added that.
Yes,
correct. Nolan, and then Greta and Coogler.
This is like working directors. This is like alive directors.
Yeah, people who are still like our generation.
Our generation. Who are the greatest? Who is the greatest director? It made me think. Like I put PTA over Denis. I think PTA is a greater director than Denis, and for me, it's Boogie Nights and Magnolia.
Oh,
I put extremely high.
I was legit so on the wrong page there. I was like, yeah, obviously Denis, Claire Denis, my favorite French filmmaker. Denis Villeneuve, you're fine too. No, I'm not good at this conversation simply just because I think the older I get, the more I just follow my heart on the stuff that I love, even if I do think that I can understand the objectivity.
Yeah.
But I will say, I do think PTA should be in the conversation because I have to say, I am not a consistent PTA lover. There's some of his movies that just do not hit for me. But when they do, Phantom Thread, One Battle After Another, Boogie Nights, Magnolia, those movies, they feel so monumental to me that I think that he should... to me, it's the same with Denis. I think, even if you've only seen his work on Dune, say you'd never seen anything else, you still would have him in that conversation.
Yeah,
because of the scope and scale of what he's able to do and to make financially successful, which is and should be a part of this conversation as well, because it is part of how cinema works. And PTA and Denis, I'm putting them both in the... I'm going to put
Denis and Nolan above, along with Coogler, because for me,
Coogler too. I agree.
And
Coogler
with Peele,
for me,
Coogler, because for me, you have to work in genre. That's that. You don't have to only work in genre. But my favorite directors of all time are Spielberg and Kubrick, and one of the reasons why is that they knew how to work in genre, and they knew how to make movies that were that were conceptually challenging, that were conceptually challenging in terms of doing something remarkable in a traditional genre. And I think that's a great point. And that's my flavor center. I don't everyone, you don't have to agree or whatever, but if PTA wants to step up and do an adaptation of, whatever, Catabasis or the Will of the Many or whatever.
Oh my God, could you imagine a PTA RF Quang? That would be
exactly.
Unbelievable.
I'm ready. I'm
Movies
ready.
Too.
I'm ready for it. We'll see what he comes with.
I think you make a good point. I would also say, out of that spectrum, I think Coogler is just above all of them for me. I think he is there because for me, I know everyone is loving One Battle After Another. I too love it.
But Sinners
for me, Sinners was a transcendent cinematic experience that played with genre and folklore and history and all the stuff that I love in a way that One Battle After Another, though very radical and subversive in my opinion, it is also just a really great cinematic movie.
Right.
I feel like Sinners has those moments where you believe the folklore that is on the screen is real.
Yeah.
The musical scene that we all know, that makes you feel that exact feeling. That very few directors can do that. I would also say as well, for me, the conversation becomes also who's getting the money. I love
of course.
There's Dee Reese who made Pariah and Bessie, but she was in the conversation in 2017 for when she made Mudbound, and it got nominated for a bunch of Oscars. It was one of Netflix's big first Oscar movies, and since then she hasn't got those ops. And like she's always wanted to do a sci-fi. She's always wanted to move into that genre space, do a horror. When they first were looking for people to write Blade and direct Blade, she was like at the top of my list.
Turned out to be a trap.
But seriously, thank God, bless, like somebody was looking out for her that day. So yeah, but I mean, I think the best thing is like even in the like newer generation, you know, people like, you know, you do have someone for everyone. Greta Gerwig, there's so many women who that like after Barbie is going to be like the biggest inspiration, but also like you know Julia Ducournau makes like Raw and Titan. You know, she's like our Cronenberg. She's got Alpha coming out soon. Like I love that. Just like every generation before us, you're going to get those people like the PTAs and the Denise, who are probably going to become our Scorseses and our Coppolas and our like elder generation of like old head filmmakers. And I love that there's still going to be people making those like shocking films, or like someone like Coogler, who his best film is probably still 20 years in the future. You know, like
totally.
The society and technology is not caught up with him yet. So I feel very excited.
He's got some runway.
He's got some runway for real.
He's got some runway. Wow. Well, speaking of runway, we are quite excited, Rosie, to have you back because Hoa season
is here.
It's back.
So you guys have pulled me so far in that I was the one who pinged you, the two of you.
I was going to say, you can't blame us anymore. This is you. Like
we're trying to get better at like actually programming content against external events, like you know the world in general. We're trying to recognize that it's not just whatever wild idea hoves into view.
When will I finally try and take this podcast more seriously and try and actually do something with it? So,
dude, isn't that like every one of us who has a podcast? We're like, is this my job yet? Am I still taking it seriously? Am I
as soon as we cover Margin Call, it becomes real for me. Until then, it is just a hobby.
All right. Well, next week on Escape Hatch, we're covering 2011's Margin Call.
What?
Oh my God! How can it be?
Next week. We have the return of the star of our recent One Battle After Another heater, Peter Kafka.
He is a great guest. Great guest. Good podcast.
Such short notice as well. You guys just banged that one out. Like,
you had to on respond. Sunday night. He's like, do you want to do it? And
before we put that on audio, I actually said in
you did
text
say in like the Discord as well. You guys were like, I think we might have to do it. Once
no, I was hot to trot. And I like an emergency episode with Peter Kafka. Rosie, what I found.
Who doesn't?
What I've found as we've gone through 5,462 episodes of this pod, the thing, and as a pod that is a completely guest-driven format, the thing that really makes it easy is when you're podcasting with another person who has a podcast. Like just having someone else who's just like, of course I'm going to show up. Like, like it's no just like they know what headphones. It is. Exactly. It's just like, and you don't have to, there's just like a common vernacular. I don't care what the podcast is that they do. Like,
no, it doesn't matter.
As long as they understand the hustle.
I love that because that's so true. And I'm going to tell you guys how to upgrade it. So next time what you have to do, you have to start getting voice actors.
Oh, that's a great one.
We had Erika Ishii, who voiced the lead character of the new Ghosts of Yote. She's they're an incredible actor.
That's good.
They do D20, they do Dropout, they do all that stuff, right? When they logged on, that was in a soundproof studio with headphones.
Oh,
Best sound
it
quality
sounded
you've
immaculate.
Ever heard. And not even a question. Like they are going to stay on the riverside. They know at the end. So I'm like, podcasters, we're like the easy,
the tip of the iceberg.
Those guys who have like the studio set up in their bedroom because they've been recording like DC crisis movies over COVID.
Right. Abu was like rubbing his hands together. He's like, this is
the easiest edit of all time.
That's good. I got to start playing that game, by the way. I'm putting that on my list of things to do.
Put it on because Jason and Aaron are loving it, and it is also part of like a very popular subgenre in our Discord, which I think I'm going to make a zine out of. Exclusive Escape Hatch reveal there. But we have a very funny ongoing conversation about like how games like Ghost of Yote or Elden Ring or Diablo 4, depending on how you play it, like there are elements of those where are they cozy? Like when you go to a tavern and you're a necromancer and you're in a tavern, like is it still cozy? So we kind of have like a funny ongoing cozy not cozy games. And apparently there's cooking elements, there's a lot, but there's also like one of the things that I thought sounded really fun was they have a Pokemon-esque like every time you see a certain kind of tree, there will just be someone there you can fight to level up. There's also like there's story, but there's constant combat. So it sounds great. I had Jason's PS5 to play Diablo 4, but I finally returned it. So I'm on my Switch 2. I'm a Switch 2 girly right now.
Yeah. I Ghost of Tsushima was like one of the very few games I ever 100%ed on PlayStation.
Wasn't that
like
right when we started the pod? Wasn't that like
probably? Yeah, it feels like it was about then. Yeah, like I played the shit out of that game. Like really, like put in the time. That was like
a game changing.
Yeah,
game.
Oh, 100%.
It was one of those like conversation starters. Jason always cracks me up because when he talks about it, he's just like, I just loved to like be in a beef with my uncle. That's what the whole game's about. You're just fighting your uncle. And I was like, that sounds hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
This one is set, I think, like 300 years
It's much
after.
later, yeah.
So they have, like, guns. Jason's like, sometimes they'll just be, like, pulling the gun out. And but, yeah, I mean, it sounds amazing. And apparently looks stunning.
Yes.
Also about to be one of the biggest selling games in Japan this year. So really there, like, it's hitting really big.
I got a lot of Warcraft business to take care of, so I don't know if I'm going to get to it anytime soon.
You just finished the thing and got the sign off and the mount.
Then they release some more stuff, Matt. That's what they do. They release housing drops on December, so I gotta start. It's time to start decorating, baby.
Start building a house. Hey, can we do some quick Hatch news?
Let's do it from beyond
news.
First question, Rosie, have you seen Tron Ares?
Oh.
No, I have not seen it. We, our sweet super producer Aaron, who is also an incredible musician, he lives in New York. The screening was the day before the screening in LA. We had a lot of clashes. Jason was traveling for New York Comic Con, and we asked him the simple, like, do we need to rearrange stuff to go? And he was like,
yeah.
He was like, don't do it. He was just like, he was like, you don't. So we have a segment with him. He reviewed it. Apparently, soundtrack all-time banger, unbelievable, looks beautiful, looks like it costs hundreds of millions of dollars. Story and acting not necessarily there, but still a lot of like, if you just go into vibe, you can go and vibe. You know, that's what I heard.
I'm taking Sam. I'm taking my 7-year-old.
And it's 2 hours, and I think like everyone's saying music's great, looks great. And also the cast is unbelievable. I will minus, Jared. I'm not a Jared Leto fan, but otherwise,
of course,
Gillian Anderson, Evan Peters, Jodie Smith. We have like Greta Lee, obviously. So it is, I think, hopefully a fun time at the movies. I was a Tron Legacy lover from the first time I saw it at the movie theaters.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe a little surprise. But no, I haven't seen it. But it's out. It's coming out.
Yeah, it'll be out by the time we dropped. And if people didn't listen, we re-dropped our 2021 episode on Tron Legacy, which is one of our most fun and filthy episodes.
It was really fun. Surprisingly filthy. I don't know what was going on. It was Christmas.
There's a lot. Also, like, that was the era of, like, look at this woman in a sexy black leather suit.
Yes.
Like every movie had that. It was in 3D with sexy light cycles. It's like that's what they wanted it to be.
So I said last week that I'd put on the Tron Ares soundtrack for Sam, and he was not that impressed. He was like, the Daft Punk one was much better.
Oh yes, of course.
So then this morning I get in the car to take Sam to the bus, and he's like, Dad, can you put on Daft Punk? And I was like, oh, do you want to listen to the Tron Legacy soundtrack? He's like, no, I want to hear some of their other stuff and see if I'm into it.
Oh, I love that.
The dream.
Boom.
Okay, dude, what did you play first?
I just went to Spotify. This is Daft Punk, which starts with Around the World.
Oh, perfect.
So
I was going to say
Around the World, and then Defunk. And literally, when we got up to the bus stop, he just wanted to sit in the car, roll the windows down, and blast the music for a few minutes before we got out.
Oh my God, that's so cute. Well, also Around the World's like, that's one of those songs that chemically just makes everyone feel happy. So I feel like it's like such a good first intro. And also,
I think Roman Coppola directed that video.
Yeah, well, I was going to say there's a movie of it the first album, it basically, is a movie. They did a AI help remaster recently, Interstellar 555, but you can get copies of it non-remastered, which is the version I have, and it is unbelievable because it's like an hour and 20-minute long anime movie.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's
musical.
Great. It's really amazing. And Cayman, my daughter showed Sam. They have the Fortnite Daft Punk experience right now, where you basically fly through space and then you go down.
You can have instruments.
The pyramid. There's all these different rooms, and there's 32 different songs playing in different rooms. So folks should check that out. Jason, we have some news relative to a film called Dune Part 3.
What do we got?
Lady Jessica.
Oh yes, I saw this news.
To return in Dune Part 3.
Yeah.
So she's not in the book,
right?
No.
Because in the book she's off boning Gurney on Caladan.
Yeah.
While Paul is running the Empire.
Right.
But so she said when she was talking to Games Radar, Rebecca Ferguson said, "Yeah, I'm in it. Small, dip in, dip out, because I'm not in the book, so I wasn't reckoning on it." Denis called me and was like, "Why do I have a feeling you think you're not in the film?" And I was like, "Because I'm not in the books." Mm-hmm. And he was like, "No, mate, I have a couple of scenes."
No, mate.
Okay. How much do we get? Do we bet then that those are hot Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin sex
That'd be
scenes?
great.
That
If we got that,
feels
would
to
be
me
amazing.
like if that's where she is off planet, then if we're gonna see her, maybe we get some of that, and then some like Paul like psycho connection to his mom or whatever. Like, what do you think, H?
I don't think we've heard whether Brolin. I don't think Brolin is going to be back. But one of the plot points is conflict between Paul and the Bene Gesserit. So I would not be surprised to have Jessica show up and participate.
Well, they also have to draw the connective tissue with Aaliyah. I mean, like they have to kind of.
Oh well. Oh, that makes a lot of sense actually because of when we're gonna meet her. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
because we didn't have
Anya though. So we have full-grown Aaliyah in this.
Mm-hmm. We don't really know. We don't really know what that means or how.
Yeah, we don't know what that's gonna look like, right?
Because it's like it can only be as a flash forward because the time. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense. Because it's not like
jump. I think
you think it's
adults.
Yeah, she had spice. She had spice stuff, and that.
I was gonna say, I do think they might want to do a born sex, like kind of half born sexy yesterday. Like she is. That looks like an adult, but like you said, she was spiced up or whatever, and really it's 6 years later or something.
That makes sense. That's what happened to me. I got spiced up.
That's why I've
been middle-aged for 30 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what is going to happen.
I love Anya Taylor-Joy, and I love those movies, so I'm like, this just
first
all good to me.
Real confirmed response that we have. What is his name? Linus Sangren, the cinematographer.
All right.
On set, and
we're worried about him. We're concerned.
So, hold on just a second. Let me just.
Breaking news.
Can you guys still hear in the stage? Can you guys hear me?
Let's see.
They're in the audience. Let's see. Friends, can you hear us?
Oh, man.
What happened?
What happened was I...
remember when I said it was great recording with professional podcasters? Remember
about a month ago, I took April's notification settings, which was on vibrate like everyone else, because I don't have any text chimes for anybody.
Same.
And in order to try and have a higher probability that I would be able to see her text and respond, I turned on chime for her. And 2 weeks ago, the chime, she texted me while we were recording. I'm in do not disturb mode. I'm in.
That's because, when you set it to always hear it, it comes through. You can turn it off when it's specifically in do not disturb mode, but you have to actively do it once you put it can come in.
Yeah, that's the override. But I think I followed instructions to disable it literally before this call, worried about this. So I don't know. Yes, you can
they can hear us. Let's continue.
We'll see. Hopefully we'll have an uncut. Last time this cost us the uncut. So,
no.
Hopefully we will get this. We will get this fixed. All right. Last thing I want to call out. So I didn't get a chance to do any research on this, but I saw that there was a that there was something with the boys. There's
Yes.
this ambrosious, this realistic toy. So what is the story? This is an action figure statue? What
It's definitely not an action figure.
No, it's like a real sex toy.
It's a real sex toy. Yeah. So Chase Crawford, I'll set it up, Rosie.
Yeah, you set it up.
Chase Crawford on the boys' official TikTok account. In the show The Boys, Chase Crawford as the Deep has a relationship with an octopus.
Mm-hmm. Played by Tilda. Voiced by Tilda Swinton.
Yes.
Correct.
Not played by like.
Yes. Okay. And the octopus's name is Ambrosius. That's a real thing. Also real, Chase Crawford, not as the Deep, but as Chase Crawford, shows up on the boys' TikTok and says, "Hey, everybody, it's me, Chase Crawford. I play the Deep on TV's The Boys. And we made an Ambrosius so that you can enjoy what I, as the Deep, have enjoyed. It's a sex toy that we've made partnering with Adam and Eve, which is a sex toy company."
Yeah, it's like the old school list, like late night watching a movie on Stars, and they're like, come to adamandeve.com for all your adult romantic needs.
Yes.
Like, I was shocked that this is who they
all purchases
specifically
are sent in nondescript packaging,
exactly.
and whatnot. So I guess I have there's several points about this.
Me too.
I have
one.
I don't know of another TV show that's made a sex toy. Like I think this is like I don't know that's like a mainstream TV show. And obviously The Boys is like, known for being kind of like, rule
irreverent,
breaking or whatever. But like to actually be like we're making a sex toy is surprising. Point 2. What was the conversation like with Chase Crawford to be like, we think you should promo this sex toy?
I don't know. I feel like he was like really into it. Maybe he bought them this idea. Like, this is the kind of shit that I think turns up in, like, your agent's inbox. And they're like, Adam and Eve was like, would you ever do a sex toy? They sent it to Amazon, but they didn't hear back. And Chase is like, hey, maybe. Sure.
Very, very curious about the emails.
The oral history of
like,
this
so to speak. I'm very curious about, like, what are the business terms here? Like, what
is getting paid what?
Is Chase get residuals? Like, what's going on? Like, is he, what's happening here? Point 3. In general, so the sex toy is a large kind of canonical tentacled plastic, like silicone creature,
octopus,
silicone octopus. In general, and I'm just going to assert this, and folks can dispute it if they wish. But in general, when you see a large silicone tentacled object advertised as a sex toy, that is primarily geared towards women. I would say that is geared towards women.
Yes, sure.
This sex toy is not that.
No, this is like a fleshlight. But an octopus.
This is an octopus fleshlight.
I agree with you. I think the one misstep that they made here, because I actually love this. I think this is a great idea. I think if you're going to be a show that is about sex and violence, like, why not actually put that into the world in a way that is like tangible, but also not, terrible. Like, this is an interesting, silly thing. But I'm like, you know what? I love Gen V. I'm a big Gen V supporter. If you haven't watched it, you know what? I would say the first few episodes of the first season are it's a new show. But once you get to there, and season 2, I think, is going to be an all-timer for the franchise, especially Hamish Linklater has joined, and he's unbelievable. But, like, I do think that they do a lot of really thoughtful stuff around sex, which they need to do, because the comics, which I think we've even talked about here before, just horrific shit. Like, you can't even read them, grotesque. So I love the nature of this and the kind of sex-positive nature. But it is hilarious because, as many people in the Discord and other places have pointed out, there is already a very successful kind of like monster fucking tentacle hentai kind of situation that exists in the sex toy world. So it does feel strange to me. I feel like it's a missed opportunity to not have made it like an all-gender sex toy. You could have made the tentacles or made it vibrate or whatever. But I also, it also does play into one of the great eternal truths, which I'm like, sorry to you guys and every other man, but like it is also funny because they'll fuck anything.
Yeah,
so it's funny to have an octopus fleshlight. Is hilarious.
I think the fuck anything is a fair like stereotype. I will say I think fucking an octopus is. I mean, not to yuck anyone's yum, but like I don't know if I was on board with the concept from the beginning, but once I was like, oh, okay.
It's like
that's I'm good, Chase. Thanks for your advertisement.
I'm most interested in whomst will be choosing to fuck this toy. Like if it was around, would a guy fuck it? Probably, but like who's gonna order it?
Go through the effort,
right?
That's my question. How many units? How many are we moving?
I'm very interested. I'm interested in the idea.
It's $99, which is actually relatively affordable for like a high quality sex toy. But it says it's unlimited deal. I do wonder if this is like a New York Comic Con promotion, essentially. So it may be only available for the weekend. I just want to know.
Maybe just the buzz. Imagine how much buzz just from doing.
Yeah, we're talking about it
before Comic Con.
Yeah.
And I got to know. I'm like, is it if you? He does unbox it, but I also am interested. Also, I'm going to tell you something. This is maybe the first tie-in thing that I have not seen any influencers get sent.
Yeah. That's true.
So I think that's also which makes sense. Like, don't
totally
send influencers sex toys, please.
No, for sure.
Though I will say, one of the best mailers I ever got randomly was from this company called Passionflix, which is basically like a softcore porn streaming site for women run by Elon Musk's sister.
Interesting.
And they mailed me the craziest box set, no sex toys, sad, missed opportunity, but with tons of really weird old female directed porn.
Oh, interesting.
And it was like, I was like, this is the best
like
mailer
stuff?
I think like probably pretty well known in the adult scene because it was very like gimmicky. I think it was like it's a series. I think it's called Femalien. And it's like a series where an alien, she has to come down to Earth and discover the pleasures of the human body or whatever.
Well, it's under the skin.
It's like honestly less terrifying than Under the Skin.
What could be more terrifying?
So you know, but I'm not. It is funny. That's probably why they had to get somebody who was like a talent. You know,
I like the idea that once this short-term promotion is over, that the octopus stroker is just going to move over to Seth Rogen's like homegrown shop, and like you can buy it along with like the ashtray and like his pottery.
Dude. Also, I will say as well, the funniest thing about this is the octopus is dead in the canon of the show, so I feel like that also makes it weirder.
It makes it. It definitely makes it
dead
weirder.
Octopus fleshlight.
It definitely makes it weirder. It's a memorial fleshlight. Well, I'm glad we covered this. I felt it was important.
I'm so glad that we coined the phrase memorial fleshlight. That's getting brought up again and again.
Oh my God. All right. Well, on that note, are you guys ready to get into this movie?
Let's go.
Oh, crazy. Let's do it. It's woof. Wow.
All right. Here we go. Twilight, New Moon is the choice between life and death and how far we are willing to go to belong. Bella Swan and her star-crossed lover, Ellen Cullen, long to be together. Edward Cullen.
There's a fanfic for that for sure.
Ellen
Cullen Bella is going to turn up 10,000 results.
Bella Swan and her star-crossed lover, Edward Cullen, long to be together, but are separated by the fact that he is an ageless vampire, unwilling to sacrifice her soul to make her a creature of the undead like him. Bella spirals into despair when Edward departs forever, but finds heat and desire in the close proximity of her childhood friend, Jacob Black, who underneath his new sinewy physique hides the terrible secret that he too is a creature of the night, a ravenous werewolf unleashed when he loses control of his emotions. In the end, Bella must choose which of these men she will bind herself to and decide whether to live out her natural days in the light of the sun or secure immortality in the everlasting twilight of the new moon.
Ooh.
Let the record reflect that in the synopsis, Matt sexualized a child.
I was gonna say, you were like, which of these men she will bind herself to? I'm like, one of them is 16, so like a young man.
This episode has been pulled because of immoral content. We made it through. We made it through the octopus stroker conversation. But
Jason,
crashed onto the rocky shoals of sexualizing a child in the synopsis.
You know what, T-Lot, we love you.
We love you.
He did a great interview recently,
job.
And he did a great interview recently about.
We're gonna get.
Yeah.
Listen, I know.
He knows it's problematic.
Matt's done his research. He knows what he did.
He knows it's bad.
He knows it's bad. He just can't help himself, Rosie.
All right, we'll get. Believe me, we'll be destroyed by the end. But so, Rosie, what was your first time with New Moon? Were you still working at the theater?
This was way before theater times for me. I would have been like 2009. I would have been 21. I would have definitely gone and seen this in the movie theater. I do not recall it as much as the first time, because the first time my mom, as we talked about last time, made me go 5 times to see it with her.
Oh, right.
For the first one.
Right.
I think the second one I probably saw it like once. If I
God
saw
bless
it.
that woman.
Yeah, I know. What? She's a true icon. That was like
and
I still think it's so funny. She was like, "No, I think we saw it once," and then she was like going through the house, and she was
You're like, "Girl."
"Oh," she was like, "I found the tickets." Like there was a lot of tickets. But yeah, no, I'd read the books up to the point that they had been released. I totally got sucked into it all because like I was living in like a squat, and I was like very in love with the idea of like a weird escapism. But at that point, I was also like a complete cinephile snob watching like Ingmar Bergman movies in my little on my little shade DVD player. So I was in a funny like ironic place with it. I think that was like I'm enjoying it, but it's like, oh, it's dumb. But it was funny because when I rewatched it this time, I was like, this movie is so deranged. Like it's I think it's up there for like most deranged entry apart from the last one. It's really out there.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. That is correct.
Yeah, completely. And Jason, how about you?
I mean, I was unironically into Twilight at this point. I'd read the books, seen them for, I was there opening weekend, if not like, opening night.
Yeah,
I was
Thursday
ready for
night.
Yeah, I was ready. I'm ready to see this fucking movie. So yeah.
And you were pumping your fists. You're like,
I was like, fuck yeah. I definitely think like I was, as we'll get into, I was shocked at how problematic I found the movie in this viewing. I was not prepared to be like sort of,
It sets up a lot of the most like toxic stuff in the franchise. This is really that.
I was a little disappointed in prior me for maybe not
being as hype.
For just being like, oh, what's wrong with this? We're going to see this. Like, what could possibly go wrong? So that's on me.
All right.
We all grow.
I saw this film on opening night in the
theater,
in Fairfax with Cayman. Cayman was 12.
Oh, perfect!
At
a great daddy-daughter night. It's like the opposite of a purity dance. Is like going to see opening weekend with this.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, and I was never. I think I read the first book maybe, and I was like, I'm good. I don't think I ever went any further on the actual series, but she was certainly very, very attached to it.
Yeah.
So let's do some quick behind the scenes. So let's flash back for a second to November of 2008. In just a few weeks, Twilight is going to premiere at the box office, and Summit Entertainment, they feel they've got a hit, so they book all the rest of the remaining novels in the Twilight series. And the day after the release, which if you will remind you, that movie had a $37 million budget and did $408 million.
Yeah.
The day after they announced that they were going to start working on New Moon.
Yeah.
And that same weekend, Michelle Rosenberg turned in her script, which she'd been working on since June. Apparently, all week she wrote Dexter episodes, and then every weekend she wrote Twilight.
Love that.
And just worked on New Moon.
Interesting. I'll share a funny bit of business history, which is that, and like, I'm not going to name any names in case I'm wrong, but some of the folks behind Summit Entertainment who made all their money who made like all the buckets of money doing Twilight, then
who are these guys? Who are
I'm not going to name any names, but then because I don't want to get it wrong, but some of those folks took that money and started their own like investment fund, and one of the things that they invested in heavily was buying up Twitter shares on the pre-IPO market. They were involved in like sort of the special investment vehicle craze of the late 2010s.
Crazy.
And so I am
had to deal.
I am sort of 1 degree removed from being a Twilight movie investor. Unfortunately, a very critical degree removed.
Yeah, the money.
Yeah, the important detail. But yeah.
I was curious. Like, is Summit still a thing? Like, are they still?
It basically, like, what's my understanding, and having heard some version of this from some version of the people who worked on this, is that what they figured out was the way to do. There was a time in which they basically arbitraged the movie distribution business, where they said, "Oh, we have a theory on what kind of movies will work well overseas, and we know how to bump the international box office with these movies, like with movies that will bump the international box office. So we can buy assets that look cheap because they're not going to make enough movie on the domestic market, but we know how to get them distributed internationally, and that's what's going to work."
Well, I'm gonna tell you the craziest thing.
Please.
Literally, like 1 year after, well, not even a year. It was like a few months after the movie came out. Lionsgate tried to buy them for the first time.
Right.
And there was a huge falling out, and there was a big, and then eventually Lionsgate did buy them in like 2009.
2012,
2012, right?
Yeah.
It was 2009 they tried to, and it was for like almost $500 million.
Right.
So
Right.
I think like Summit still exists as like a Lionsgate imprint. You
Right.
know, like they'll still put out like a weird movie on here, but I think nowadays you're talking about like probably, you know, movies that you're not even really. Oh, I'll tell you. So they did put out, for example, like Ballerina, the John Wick movie, came out under the Summit Lions.
That makes
banner.
sense.
So
that makes sense.
So they're still putting out their kind of like actiony,
right?
You know, genre-y John Wick, Moonfall, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, an insane movie I went to see. Voyagers, remember that? It looked an incredible trailer. Didn't end up like fully hitting because I think they recut it for PG-13. But
that makes
so
sense.
like they're around, but the same way that any company from that era is around, like as an ident that a bigger studio puts before other movies.
Exactly. It just does, and that's just the story of modern Hollywood, like of the last 50 years. It's just like
MGM Amazon Studios, baby. You know,
exactly.
The big ones.
Exactly.
Yep. So it is interesting to call out. Stephanie Myers was very pleased with the whole relationship that she had with Summit. She said, "I don't think any other author has had a more positive experience with the makers of her movie adaptation than I have."
I made enough money to buy an island. I am very pleased with my relationship.
Now, in December of 2008, it was announced that Catherine Hardwicke would not be returning as the director.
Which is a big L.
But I will
say, you interviewed her, right?
When I interviewed her, I was surprised because she told me at that Q&A that she was the one who turned it down.
Interesting. What was her reason for turning it down? She just didn't have any more to say?
I think she had that feeling of like, I've done it.
Yeah.
If I was a dude and I just made a $400 million movie, surely
no one would ask.
These doors are gonna open up for me, and you know, and that wasn't necessarily the route that it went.
Right.
But also, like, this begins the timeline of Twilight becoming like this. The first movie made a lot of money, but after, you know, second movie onwards, that's like a blockbuster franchise that isn't contested until the MCU is in its main
That's a really interesting point. That's a really interesting point. It
becomes so crazy when she leaves. And I wonder, because I love Catherine Hardwicke, we really miss her beautiful blue tint that she had over the first movie.
Yeah.
I wonder if she'd have kept that indie sensibility or been involved. I wonder if they would have become that, because from here on out we get that very Harry Potterified, like
much bigger,
Vaseline-y, big explosions, big, you know, adventures. And I would have loved to see what she would have done, because like we talked about in the first one, I think the first movie is actually like an interesting mid-budget, teen YA coming of age movie. And then from here on out, it's like this one is insane and sets up a lot of problematic stuff, and then you just keep getting more and more deranged and more like Vaselined. Like everyone is wearing so much makeup, so many contacts, so many wigs. So I wonder, big L, I think, for the franchise artistically, but it is where this now becomes the kind of like huge, big franchise of its moment, alongside probably like The Conjuring, which I think is the other biggest franchise.
I do love that analysis that it was like before the MCU, it was the IP franchise of success. I guess
that's my point number 2 in the we're going to talk about.
Every year, these are coming out making hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. They're doing, people are dressing up. We talked about it on the last episode, but Hall H is essentially invented at San Diego by the success of the Twilight.
I always forget this.
Where people are queuing up outside and they're staying overnight, and suddenly studios are like, okay, we don't need to just send boy movies here, or kind of like genre. Like we can do something like this, and the fans will come. That if you build it, they will come. So the MCU of it all, the kind of amount of money these movies were making. People forget that. They act like it's a weird, like, straight to video.
That's a really good
vibe.
That's a really good point, Rosie.
Yeah, well, you can feel it here. So they bring in Chris Weitz, who, among other things, he started out kind of more indie with About a Boy. Yes. Then he does the Golden Compass, which the Golden Compass has some of the greatest casting you could ever have. And then he was like, what if we make the end of the first book, what if we just make it a happy ending instead of like doing the actual
terrifying ending of the story?
Like one of the greatest things ever. And actually this does make me think like I need to go back. I watched the pilot of the show, but I feel like I need to go
I didn't finish the show, I think.
Please go in and watch the show. It is
Did they do all 3 books?
Yes, and it is absolutely bonkers. I covered it for a website called What to Watch, where I was basically reviewing every episode. And by the end, you care so much about the characters, and the world is so well done because they really do balance that like real world of London with that dueling world. And I think that's something that movie, the Nicole Kidman movie, which is still like cute and fantastical, and sometimes I'll go and look at for the what could have been of the franchise. But the show is a much more serious adaptation of the book, and it gets really interesting in the final season when you really get into like the theological nature of the cosmos and stuff.
Totally.
So definitely worth checking out. Good like holiday weekend binge or something to watch, and it's all on HBO. So I gotta pick that back up. I got put off by the Lin-Manuel of it all, but
he was not great. It was not great.
All right, so they get right into production on this film. They did choose to move production from Portland to Vancouver, where they could get higher production quality. They had the studios were much better there. They had to rebuild and replicate key locations, including building the entire exterior of the Swan House.
Crazy.
And then rebuilding the entire interior of it on set. But Rosie, as you called out, the budget of this film, $50 million, so up by about 30% from the first one, set the record for the biggest midnight opening in domestic box office history with $26.3 million, $142 million on the weekend, totaled out worldwide $711 million.
That is a crazy number. That is a crazy number.
If a superhero movie did that money nowadays, we'd be like, it's back, baby. Superhero fatigue's over.
100%.
And these movies
are $2009.
And they're never, at this point as well, these movies are not getting critically acclaimed. There is not good like word of mouth in the film space. This is pure fandom, word of mouth. And also, as we talked about in the first movie, just like the unbelievable casting of Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. Like that is what makes people care about the relationship. And, Taylor Lautner, big focus here. He really rises to the occasion, even though he was literally a child. They managed to create that same feeling of like the yearning. That's the thing about this movie that did kind of blow me away is like yeah, it is really deranged, but I have also been a teenage girl, and teenage girls are deranged.
Yeah,
so there's actually aspects to it where I'm like, this is actually surprisingly like maybe a bit too real about that kind of depressive episodes and
I was
darkness.
Just right before I came to record, I was with Crystal, and I was like, "Oh, we're doing New Moon," because she's like, I read the books with her, and we like went to go see this. I like, we like went. Wait, what year is this? What year is New Moon?
2009.
Yeah, so we went to see this together. And I was like, yeah, I mean, like, second one's just crazy. Like, she ends up in this whole depressive episode, and Taylor Lautner is a sexualized child, and she was like, yeah. I hear what you're saying. She's like, but like, remember like who the people are who are sexualizing Taylor Lautner. It's like teenage girls who are sexualizing him. I think
that's the aimed audience. I think where it becomes problematic is a lot of the audience was.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Man, the last thing I want to call out for behind the scenes is just that before they'd even finished production on New Moon, Eclipse was already started.
Wow.
They had to get another director, David Slade, to start doing that one.
Not fucking around.
Eclipse premiered 8 months after New Moon's
That's
premiere.
crazy.
Look,
So like, talk about printing money.
Yeah.
I gotta be real as well.
Within 20 months.
Let's bring that back. Let's bring that kind of production back to LA, guys.
Exactly.
We need it. Let's bring it back to Canada. Let's bring it back to Ontario, wherever we are. Like, I can't be waiting 5 years between a movie, guys. This is
100%.
Look at Stranger Things. Millie Bobby Brown has a child. She is a mother. And that show is about to start. Like,
hell?
we need the 8-month production timeline. And I'm sorry if people got treated badly on that set. I have not heard those stories, but I'm guessing 8-month timeline is that they were still making them like B movies.
Yeah.
That's kind of the crazy thing.
They're just going for it. Yeah. It's insane that the speed that they did this. All right. So, Rosie, where do you want to start?
Where do I want to start? I think let's just talk about Jacob. Because we've already done it. The first movie, Jacob is the baby. He's got the, notoriously bad wig that everyone was always complaining about.
Yeah.
He's sweet. He's obviously got a crush on her. I guess he's 2 years younger than her. We kind of establish here. In this movie, they have to create, like, a hunk. They have to make him do crazy exercise. He's getting buff. When I was watching this is such a mum thing to think, which says about my age, but like, I was like, is it even safe to work out like that when you're 16? Like, when your body is still developing? Like, this is looking like a Marvel method, kind of like very dehydrated to really show the musculature. I was kind of really thinking, and he said he did an interview recently talking about how it's really bad for his body image for the rest of his life, But Jacob is, we meet him here and he's going through this change, and it's this notion of pick the thing. I think there's a great line where Charlie's like, at some point you have to just start picking the thing that is good for you, even if it's not the thing you want. And I will say, for all the incredibly problematic aspects that we will get into about the Queerloot tribe and the way that Stephanie Meyer's used them, I do think it's interesting how it is very clearly posed at all points that, like, being with Jacob and being close to the Queerloots is a much better and safer and more sensible option than the Cullens, who, by the way, in this movie, run away. Run away from
Flee.
Bella, leave her. Edward's barely in the movie.
Yeah, barely in the movie.
Barely in the movie. So,
which is wild. That's a wild
so
choice.
Weird.
Yeah.
So I think about it all the time when I watched it today, and they basically have to add in those Edward delusions, so you can have a
just to
physical
keep them in there.
But yeah, I mean, I think Taylor Lautner, like, as a 16-year-old kid, just is really carrying this movie on his back. Him and Kristen Stewart have great chemistry, that kind of boy next door, girl next door chemistry, and he does a really great job, and it's really hard because the movie is such a silly premise for this year, which is like, he's secretly a werewolf. It's like, how do you make that yearning and serious and dark and strange? And I think that when I watch it now, I really think he was doing so much of what makes this work.
But I assumed he was 26. Like, I had no idea.
Right? Buffy the Vampire Slayer. rules.
Exactly. Like, Callista Flockhart in the Birdcage is 31 playing 18. So I assumed I assumed he was in his mid-20s, typical 90210 style.
Yeah, Nicola
So when he said he
Coughlan.
was 16, I was like, this is crazy. But I mean, I guess that's the deal. So they originally wanted to recast him.
Yes.
And
he was going to transform. They were going to have the transformation be more of a transformation.
Yeah. Well, it was a transformation.
Yeah.
I mean,
he said, "I'm doing it."
Yeah. He's very, very, very different.
He's very transformed. We said last week when we were about to cover, it was like, oh, it's like, before the Marvel era or whatever, like he was like doing this like natty. I was like, I mean, fitness is different when you're 16 years old, but like Mike, he really fucking puts on. There's no way that was. It seems pretty unhealthy, like where he went from to where he get. Yeah,
I'm like, I worry about it. I'm sure that he's going to talk about it more. I'm very glad he's got this kind of like meta-textual show that he's bringing out that's going to kind of be a commentary on Twilight.
What is he doing? What's the show? I'm not familiar.
So they're doing a show called, I'm very excited about this. It's currently in production. I think it's called Taylor Lautner Unnamed Werewolf Project. And the idea is that real Taylor Lautner has to become a werewolf hunter. And like, the show is about him kind of trying to navigate that while making this werewolf TV show comeback. So it's
fun.
like very metatextual, very silly, very, I think, giving him a space to like, he's the one who's always still talked about it. He's the one who's been in more interesting, weird, like ground level accessible projects. He's done TV. He's done, kids action movies. Like, so let him have a moment of being the guy, the Twilight guy.
He didn't, like, if you compare it to the career trajectory of Kristen and Arpats, like, it's crazy. Like, he definitely, I thought about it, just like must have so many gobs of money and, is like having fun on that front, but it must be tough to watch the two of them not only have massive success, but also to be real indie, creative,
critical, darlings.
Yeah, critical, the whole thing.
Also, like, again, like interesting as well, because it's that question of like who gets the opportunities. But the strangest thing is, like, as has been talked about much, and this is again not this kid's fault. He's 16, 15 probably when he takes the role, 14 even. Jacob Black in the book is from the Quileute tribe, and that is not the case.
Right.
With the actor Taylor Lautner, who is white and tan.
Right.
So it's interesting that even like he was playing a very prominent like indigenous Native American character, and even like afterwards it's like, what opportunities does he get? And he's also the younger one. He's not the lead, but he has done some really. There's a very strange and hilarious English TV show that I always recommend people called Cuckoo. It was created by Andy Samberg and has him in it with the British comedian who played the head teacher in the very beloved comedy show The In-Betweeners. I believe his name is Greg something. He's great. And he's kind of your straight man. And his daughter comes back from traveling in Thailand and is married Andy Samberg, who's like the world's worst hippie. And the guy comes back and lives in his little British house. Really funny. In the second season, Andy Samberg's incredibly famous, can't come back. So Taylor Lautner joins as Andy Samberg's son.
Okay.
Who was born when he was like really young. And then he comes and lives in, and he is like the cuckoo, and he's kind of also this hippie-ish funny character. He's so good in it. He's got such good comedy chops. Like, he's very funny. So I'm really hoping that can be kind of his like, new wave of his career is like if he gets those kind of good ops and those good writing and that kind of stuff. Because he's definitely the least. He's kind of like the Hermione of the Harry Potter trio. Emma Watson's the one who didn't really go for those like crazy out there indie roles and never. Whereas both the kid who played Ron Weasley, though his brothers are obviously now way more prominent as the ones who play his brothers are way more prominent as actors, the other Weasleys. But like, and Daniel Radcliffe, he's done unbelievably weird, cool stuff, and I think both
Swiss Army Man and stuff.
Yeah, and even just like he's in
Equus.
He did that movie where he had the guns that were like attached to his hands. Like he's always gone for the weirdest stuff.
But let me just ask this though. So Jason, like, as I'm watching this movie, and I have not revisited it since it came out. I only saw it one time. Like, how is anyone on Team Jacob? Like, at the end of the day.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Guy has 10 chances to go for a kiss. Doesn't make a single one.
He's respectful, Matt.
He's a sweet baby boy who's never been kissed.
Yeah.
Just lean a little bit faster. Like, there were so many times where she's leaning forward. Like, so Jason, are you team Jacob?
Yes, I'm team Jacob, and this leads
Jacob.
this leads into my first point, which I'm glad you asked the question that way. My first point is wolves are cool, man. Like, I fucking love wolves. Wolves are my favorite animal. I think werewolves are dope. I think the wolves in this movie are awesome.
You like how big they are?
I love how big they are.
They're big.
I think they look good. I think when they transform, it's awesome. I think it's better when they're wolves than when they're humans. I think they're I think it's easier to love Wolf Jacob than Jacob. But I think go back to Rosie's point, it's what Charlie said. Like, you should just pick the thing that's actually good for you. And the relationship with Edward is fucking horrible.
It's so toxic.
Like, it's so toxic. It's clearly unhealthy. Like, the idea of being in that relationship for like a year, let alone eternity, is crazy.
So I do want to jump in here because something I think that people do not realize that makes these books even more unhinged, and the film too, is also, let me just give you a little bit of timeline of how long they've known each other when Bella has this reaction.
Oh, yeah. No, this is good. Do this.
Bella moves to Forks January 17th. Right? She does not talk to Edward until March 3rd.
Right.
First 2 months is just her looking, he's avoiding her, blah, blah, blah. The movie ends, she gets multiple injuries, March 18th. So they've known each other at that point for less than a month, around 2 weeks, the 2nd to the 18th. Then in May, they go to prom, so we can assume that in April they're together. This movie, it is September the 13th when Edward leaves after her birthday party. So you're talking, they have been together at most 4 months.
Yep.
And it is the amount of stuff, A, that has happened to these people, and B, like, 4 months is not stay in your bedroom for a year iconic montage length of time. But I have to say, on this watch, I was like, actually, like, when I think back to a guy I kissed once as a teenager who then I saw go and kiss someone else, that felt to me like it was the end of the world. So in a way, I think, even though it probably came from a place of like, isn't this so dramatic? Teenage girls, eye roll. They say this isn't normal. You know, I actually think that maybe it ended up speaking to something that is like a little bit true. Yeah. Which is kind of this feeling of like despair and how over the top and how reckless emotions can make you feel when you're a kid. I was watching this one this time and I was like, okay, the timeline is still insane, but actually so are teenage girls. And also, I have to say, Edward, the way that, like, this isn't just like a normal breakup. You've just introduced this woman to the fact that there is this entire magical world that she can be a part of because you love her so much. And now she just has to go back to her normal, boring, rainy life. You would never get over it.
Right.
You know, Edward's terrible.
That's pretty good analysis. I like that.
I think that's true, but that makes it pretty difficult. So my second point was Bella has worse depression than Kiki's delivery service. She is not doing well. And the depression montage shot of her doing the 360s.
Iconic.
Very cool, very complicated with CGI overlays and blue green screens and stuff. But that was super cool.
Yeah.
But then the whole thrill-seeking plot line,
deranged.
She's like riding a motorcycle like a horse. I don't know what was going on there.
when she just like, I will say something that is also again probably like horribly relevant about this movie. Like, she is a terrible friend in this movie.
Yes,
like awful
friend. And look, it's fine when you're depressed. Sometimes you have to go inside. You cut people off. That's the nature of having mental health struggles. I've been there. But when she just leaves Jessica, who by the way, just after like a year is like, hey, yeah, sure, I'll come out and hang out with you. I'll go shopping. Makes her go see a zombie movie. Then leaves her so that she can just like go and ride on some strange, creepy rapist's bike.
Yeah.
But can we say that guy actually has evolved, and he takes consent.
Extremely chill.
She's
like,
stop
stop,
the bike and get off.
He was actually just a nice guy. Really did just want to take.
He just wanted to go for a
motorbike
ride.
ride.
He's like, I got a sweet ride. Like, why'd you come with me? Yeah.
So like, as someone who hasn't revisited it, like, how did that play to you the first time she realizes she can like see Edward when she's doing that?
Yes,
like, what
good
the
question.
Fuck is going
good question,
on?
Rosie. Good question.
That was that whole. That was just very painful. I think the hardest part for me was the screaming in bed.
The screaming in bed is the worst.
Dude, my friends were texting me last night going, what? Like, she was unleashing demons from her soul.
It's
like,
really,
with those screams.
it's
like,
really something, man. It's really something.
Kristen was like, I know I'm going to be in some weird shit. She's like, I know I'm going to be in Love Lies Bleeding. I'm going to act this one up so high.
Right.
Like, why was she screaming like that? And what were the dreams about even? Like, I do not get it. Crazy work. If I was Charlie, I'm probably getting her sectioned at some point.
Oh, no,
like,
for
come
sure.
On. Like, she's going to rehab or something.
5150,
like,
One of my favorite shots of the movie is when, like, Charlie gets awoken by her screaming, and it's just, like, kind of this, like, you could tell he's like, oh, fuck, this fucking thing again.
Yeah. He's on the sofa, and he's like, ugh.
And as a parent, I really like deeply identified with Charlie. You just feel like you're just trying to sleep through the night and you're worried about your kid, but you're also just like, would you please just shut up and go to sleep?
Yeah.
Like at this point.
Yeah. No, it's too far. It's too far. Like, it's beyond like compassion and care to just like that screaming is like, come on.
It's
man.
crazy.
I'm also like, are the neighbors upset? Like, what? Also, if you were Charlie after New Moon, Edward's never coming back in my house.
No.
I'm getting the shotgun from the first movie, and anytime he comes close, this is not a safe, healthy relationship in any way, shape, or form, my guy.
No.
Like, come on, it's crazy.
But the problem is that Charlie like doesn't probably believe in therapy, and so like he was like, you know, he needed to like just be like, we're gonna get you the help you need so you can get over this relationship.
He also says like the great line when he says to her like, and I like this acknowledgement because you know we all know Bella's mum Renee like fucking sucks. And so when he's like, you gotta, you know, start picking the thing that's good for you. And then he's like, I can talk. And I'm like, because you're like still single.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You know, slight spoiler for the future movies, but when Charlie does pick something that's good for him, it is a woman from the Quileute tribe. So again, that kind of notion of like the healing and what's good and what's bad. Yeah. But I mean, really, I am, you know, I'm like, fuck the colors. I never really liked the colors, but after this, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, Alice, you could have just sent her an email.
Exactly.
Like, this woman
what the
is emotionally unstable.
And it's like
sending the emails to the
bouncy address.
Come on, but I have to say again, peak weird teenage shit in the 2000s. Yeah. Like, I believe it, but it's really crazy to me. Because also, this is a classic, like, Stephenie Meyer just wrote this for herself. Like, we all know that. And that's why I think she didn't ever consider, like, what if Edward's not in the book? Because he's not. And they had to add the visualization. In the book, it's just his voice.
Right.
And so they had to add that aspect to keep Robert Pattinson in it. And I think, like, Nick was rewatching it with me this morning, and he had a great line where he was like, he said, oh, you know, I am Team Edward. I mean, he's like, I am Team Jacob. But he was like, but only when Edward's around. Like, if I have to watch this much Jacob and Bella, he's like,
I think that. So to go back to Matt's question, I think that's the right take, which is like, Jacob in and of himself is not super compelling as a boyfriend, like, because he is kind of like, you know, he
doesn't know what to do. He's like,
he doesn't know what to do.
He's a baby.
Puppy dog.
He's a puppy dog.
He's too much of a nice guy, etc.
He doesn't want to hurt her, so he doesn't want to kiss her.
Yeah.
All very Mormon coded.
But in the very women. That's all very accurate and well analyzed. However, in the dichotomy between the two of them, Jacob is like the only choice because like you would never want your daughter to be with Edward. You'd be like, this is
119 years old or something.
Yeah.
Like, this is an old man.
This is an old,
this movie
abusive man.
Also has a very famous sequence in the Twilight fandom, which is the Carlisle Bella moment in Carlisle's office after
Where's-
she
Yeah.
cuts her arm. And
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
the
yeah.
reason that the Cullens leave, right? She
Right.
cuts her arm, it bleeds.
'Cause Jasper's a douchebag.
Jasper's a fucking racist Confederate soldier
Yeah.
who can't control his emotions.
Right,
or
exactly.
His, also, let's talk about that
His
for a
face,
second.
his resting
Oh,
bitch face is
Dude,
is just
he's so
ridiculous.
funny. There's
Yeah.
actually an incredible Instagram influencer who she does like Jasper scenes and she
Okay,
reenacts
okay.
them and she's so funny. But yeah, I mean, also like this raises many questions to me. So Jasper's in his house, right? His Frank Lloyd Wright, nice
Yeah.
ass
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
Phil Knight house.
Phil Knight's house.
Phil
yeah.
Knight's house, Nike
No,
money
they had to
house.
rebuild it. They had to go to a
They
new
had to,
house. in
because he
Vancouver.
was
Yeah.
like, he moved out. He's like, no more.
Yeah.
And so they are in school every day with like
Right.
hundreds of other people. You're
Yeah.
telling me no one ever cut their finger? You're telling me no
Right.
one was ever
Right.
on their period?
Period,
Like,
yeah.
untrue.
Right.
You
Exactly.
can't have that man in school. One, he looks like he's like 50 and he's given
Yeah.
up the ghost. Two,
Right.
he is just not like if this is happening over like a paper cut, this just makes no sense. The internal logic
Off
of the
paper, off
vampires.
wrapping paper.
Of
Yeah,
wrapping, and
she
the
really
funny
gets
thing is,
fucked up.
it's
Like
also
she,
not even the wrapping paper. She unwraps the first gift, which is brown wrapping paper. Then she tries to open, I noticed this time, a little like gift box. And that's where she
Yeah.
gets the cut. And I was like, come on, guys. Continuity.
Well,
But
the
yeah,
thing-
and then,
the thing
smashes
also-
the table and she gets the big
Yeah, yeah.
bloody cut. And yeah, crazy.
I mean, to your point too, like the whole like, premise of like why the Cullens have to go away is that this Confederate soldier can't control himself, and so therefore Bella is at fault. Like,
And also, like, this is Edward's, like, this is the thing. Like, what about when the guy came and tried to kill her and you had to tear
exactly.
his head off?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
this is the reason you have to leave? It's
Yeah.
so silly.
Yeah.
And just, like, Edward sucks. And
Yeah.
the version of Edward that they present in this movie is also so funny because he basically doesn't exist, has no personality, and then at the end they dress him like he's like a 45-year-old in business casual. So when he does show up, you're just like, who is this old man? And then
Right.
she just, abandons Jake.
Yeah,
Bad
yeah.
friend. Bad
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah. Bad friend. I do want to call out, just you talked about the scene with Carlisle. The end of that scene is where Carlisle lights the blood on fire, then the
Yes.
bandages, and it's this really cool above shot. So I just want to call out the DP of this, Javier Aguirre-Robe,
Yeah.
who has done a bunch of movies I've never heard of going back to the 70s. He did Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I've never seen. I'm going to see that. Did The Road.
Wow.
This and Eclipse.
He did The Road. Interesting.
The Road.
That's a crazy.
Yeah, which
I
is a
remember when I
good-looking
saw
movie.
that at the
Yeah.
cinema. That was crazy.
That is a good looking movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did Warm Bodies, which I never saw. That's the Nicholas Hoult
Oh,
movie.
very cute,
He did
actually. Good
Ragnarok.
companion to this. Oh,
Yeah.
I love Ragnarok.
So this guy's
Oh,
done
he's
a bunch
good.
of stuff.
Well,
He's
yeah,
good.
and I mean, the thing that I was going to say as well about that scene, which I think, the fact that it looks so good helps. But everyone always says, like, Bella and Carlisle have more chemistry in
Right.
that moment.
Than
And it
Edward.
used
Right,
to,
right.
and than with Edward. And it used to freak people out. But I'm like, Carlisle's, 20 years older than Edward. Who cares? Edward's
Right,
100.
right.
If you're going to
Yeah,
be
it doesn't
dating a
matter.
119-year-old,
Yeah,
why does it matter if you have chemistry with a 139-year-old? Like, who cares?
Isn't
at that
Carlisle
point?
the vampire lord of this clan?
Carlisle
right?
is the
Like, he's-
vampire lord, but the funny thing about Carlisle is like he's meant to be like 27
Right.
or
Yeah,
something,
yeah, yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like he turns all these kids and then adopts them, and they're
Right.
teenagers. But even he is like he's only like however many more older.
Yeah, he's not
than
that much
Edward. It's
older.
not
Yeah.
that much older.
Yeah.
I think once you're dating someone who's over 100, it probably doesn't matter. I think any age is acceptable.
That is the ostensible reason for their departures because they've
Right.
been there for a while.
That's
and
what
Carlisle,
he lies about. He's like,
Yeah.
he's been here 10 years. He hasn't
Yeah.
aged. I'm like, everyone knows you guys are weird.
No one-
Everyone
no one
knows
can-
about your
Everyone knows.
incestuous dating.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
no one
yeah.
is
No-
jumping to vampire. They're jumping
The
to like
incestuous
cult.
dating would raise enough questions from Child Protective Services.
Literally, like, why
Yeah.
are you fostering kids and then they're dating
And then
each
they're
other?
fucking.
Like,
Oh
no, they're very problematic. But actually, I'm gonna say, very influential. Did you guys watch the television show The Summer I Turned Pretty? If you did
No.
not,
There's
but you
the
heard
siblings
about it,
fucking?
right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So
I heard there was a
it's not-
show.
So it's not siblings fucking, but it is an adaptation, much like Twilight, of a YA book, right? But what the trend is that is interestingly introduced here by Stephanie, who I'm sure would give no credit for this. This is a classic love triangle.
Okay.
What has become very popular in the last few years with My Life with the Wilson boys, Summer I Turned Pretty, multiple different TV shows where the setup is essentially a reverse harem anime. So it's a girl who moves in with a family of teenage boys who are usually related to each other and then starts dating them. And it's like, what would you do if you were suddenly adopted by a hot man with his hot 7 children? And the Summer I Turned Pretty was, what if you slept with your childhood best friend, got engaged to him, and then left him for his brother? That is the plot. So the kind of notion of like living and being in relationships with people you live with is a very interesting recurring kind of YA trope. And yeah, I was, when I started the Summer I Turned Pretty, I was like, oh, okay, you guys are back into this. I was like, okay, it's back. It's returned from Twilight.
That's great.
Huh.
Yeah, intriguing stuff.
I appreciate these cultural updates that I would otherwise miss. I did not see that one. What's the other one I didn't see, which is the Sex Lives of College Students or something like that? Yeah. Was that any good?
You know what? It was very well written. Definitely like interesting takes, but it was also very in that like post 2020 time where the writing was not necessarily like up to scratch. It was there were people with lived experiences in the show, but the people writing it were also probably like a lot older. But it was pretty good. I there's a girl in that, an actress who is like somebody that I have as my comp for my lead in my slasher movie that I'm writing, because I think she's amazing in the show. So great performances. It's made by HBO Max, so casting is usually a bangin'. But yeah, I try and keep up with the YA stuff simply because I still have an interest in the YA stuff from when I was young. So I'm like, I want to see how those trends return. And at the moment, the less of the supernatural, that was very much our generation, but lots of that kind of like forced, oh no, just one bed, like trope kind of thing. Like that's definitely back again.
Yeah. Man, Jason, I want to just pick up on back to the wolves again.
Go, please. Let's talk more about wolves, how dope they are. The wolves are dope.
My note was that this is a superhero movie, and I'm assuming that by the time we're in 2009, we're starting to react to Marvel movies.
Right.
Bella slaps the wolf guy, and he wolfs out.
Yeah.
These wolves were made by Tippett Studios.
Oh, really?
Which is dope.
They crushed it.
We also have some cool wolf world building, and actually we have more
good world building.
Building in this movie.
That was my second point too. So good.
Well, let me hit this one, and then you keep going with it. But this notion of saying that wolves are genetic, but they're only triggered by the arrival of a vampire.
Right.
Otherwise, you won't actually transform and become a wolf. I thought that idea was kind of
it's very interesting, right? Like they're out there lurking. Like they've got this recessive gene or something like that, and then they're ready to activate. It's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have this big fight, with the wolf pack versus Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific. Yeah.
Laurent.
Yeah.
And
also Victoria.
This is our last original Victoria performance before she gets replaced by my love, Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah. She does look great. I have the Victoria Barbie doll over there, one of the less in-demand Twilight Barbie dolls. Wait, let me show the guys who actually watch it. You can just see her red hair right there on my
poking out.
I forgot that Victoria was like the big bad for 3 movies.
Yeah,
or whatever.
And like when she's really coming in, they were like, we got to get that famous person. Let's get Bryce Dallas Howard. How's it going? Which is a shame because I think the first Victoria actress is like very good at being menacing.
Yeah.
There is like a menacing level.
I agree.
I would also say I do think that the Twilight world building and lore is really interesting, and but I will always say as well, like, which we did talk about, is like, the Queerloat tribe not paid or in any way. They did not even film in La Push. Stephanie Meyer's never consulted with them.
Yeah,
so
they got screwed.
So I will say the Queerloat tribe, I did share it in the Discord, but it's luckily a very easy, chill thing to remember URL. They have a constant fundraiser for basically like raising where they live, because the Queerloot reservation is right on the edge in Washington of like the water, and so basically they have a fundraiser called MTHG called Queerloot Move to the Higher Ground, And you can just always donate there for free. I have Twilight zines. My donations always, all the money I make from the Twilight zines goes there. And
That's great.
And the thing is, the reason that I was thinking about it with the wolves is that is real part of like queer lore. Like the wolf connection to that is there. So it's crazy to me that she basically took, as many people do, but she took stuff from a living tribe. And I think this, in a way, it's an interesting thing because I think many people have now learned about the Quileute tribe, and this is a story where it's a contemporary story about indigenous people, but it still tracks in the the tropes of like magical indigenous people and like so. But Stephanie Meyer's also like an insane person who all of this stuff is just inspired by her dreams. So she does add in weird, interesting ideas and lore, and like somebody just pointed out in the Discord really well is like Jeth was saying like there is no traditional lore here around any of this stuff. The vampires can go out in the day, they're shiny, they can Edward's going into her house before they've even met, like he's stalking her, so there is this interesting subversion in a way, maybe less of a subversion and more of a just degaff, but like you do get completely new iterations. The werewolves here are not controlled by the moon.
Totally.
There is a transformation, but it's not like a horrific transformation. It doesn't seem to hurt. They seem to enjoy being wolves.
Right.
They are true wolves. They're more like a dire wolf or something.
Except for the wife who got shredded.
Yes, and also because of course, this is the classic kind of 2009 and Stephanie Meyer thing. Like at this point in the lore of the book, this only happens to guys. As we will see, it can kind of expand. The more vampires that come, the more werewolves they kind of create. So, yeah, it's one of the biggest dichotomies, I think, especially with this movie where they really start to, have Quileute people being there. They actually are hiring, like, native actors at this point. And also, they are making millions and millions of dollars from Quileute-branded merch. And that's why I'm always like, we got to bring it back. Like the tattoos, they had fake tattoos, they had the necklaces, they had wolf bracelets, they had all this stuff that never had any kind of like approval. And I think that to me is one of the biggest bummers of the era that this came out, because I feel like nowadays,
that
2025, but at least
totally.
the studio would have rectified that in some small way. So it's it's the biggest like stumbling block for me, but I also think it's where some of the ironically, the Jacob's plotline is where some of the best, most interesting, thoughtful stuff comes from. And also, we have like Graham Greene here. We have like iconic actors, like so. It's a weird
Graham Greene who unfortunately doesn't get
does
much
not
in this movie. He
which
does
is
hide
a
a footprint,
shame because in the first movie he's so good with Charlie. Like the banter that they have and the friendship is like such a huge part of it. But
that was not a focus here.
No,
he
not
does
at
find
all.
a footprint.
He does hide the footprint. That's how you know. You're like, okay, Harry's in on it. Like he knows.
So Jason, what about this third act? I mean, by the time you get to heading to suddenly Italy,
road trip, European road trip.
So first of all, how about this Porsche?
Yeah. Pretty strong. We're out of the Volvo, baby. Fuck that.
And she robbed that. Alice
he does
robbed
have a new
that.
Volvo.
He has a new Volvo.
He buys her the Volvo because he was worried like she's gonna be. He's always trying to get like a safe car for her. In fact, by the third book, I think she is in like a military grade, like what a president drives secret fancy car to protect her because she's so human.
Yeah, Alice isn't fucking with the fucking Volvo. Alice has got a 911 Turbo.
Yeah, and she was like, I thought you'd be okay with grand larceny. And I'm like, yeah, Bella, all that money comes from killing people. That is how they are rich.
Exactly.
Like, they have literally stolen and pillaged over 300 years. Like, so yes, be okay with grand larceny. This is your life now.
But this does have this again more of this superhero vibes. Like the slow-mo run across the fountain shot is like a pure Marvel. That's like a pure Marvel shot. And then this is where we get down to the Volturi. And
oh my God.
So first of all, we have some more. Jason, you were going to talk about the world building. Like
yes, this is what I like. The Volturi,
right?
Yeah, the Volturi. I like that we get stuff about the coyotes, the werewolves, and I like that we get stuff about the Volturi. I think the Volturi are really fun. I think Michael Sheen,
give that man. I'm giving him like a retroactive Galaxy Award, Saturn Award, Oscar, whatever I can give him because he knows the movie.
He's
having the movie.
He's having a good fucking time. Like
but he's not. He's better than he is far better than the next year his performance in Tron Legacy.
Yes, this is He goes too far.
It's something to do. He understood completely. He was like, I've seen Interview with the Vampire. I've seen kind of where we're the Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. I've seen where we're taking this from, and he's like, and I'm just gonna play it like that at every point. It's a complete tone shift. You get the 2-minute European vacation with the, Alice has even got her little headscarf on. And then you get the beautiful Italian, and then you get Bella running through, and like you said, this is 2009, so you're 1 year out of The Dark Knight becoming the first movie to ever make $1 billion.
Right.
You got the MCU, Iron Man has come out in 2008, so you're also feeling those influences there. And so that is also probably influencing, like we talked about, Jacob's physique and how he looks. But what I love, classic Robert Pattinson, very famously, when he steps out with his little, sparkly skin, that is airbrushed abs. Because he would not get strong. And I love that. He was like, I'm just a skinny gremlin. Like, that's who I am. And you're going to have to airbrush these abs onto me. And it was such a huge deal when that set photo leaked. Everyone was like, oh, scandal. And I'm like, no, I respect that so deeply.
That's great.
But then you get that again, it's the third movie within the movie. Suddenly you're in the Volturi. You learn about the laws. You learn about the conflict. You learn about how Bella's powers are so strong that even this powerful ancient vampire
is like, I
governor, and he can't get, he can't read her mind.
Jane is also powered, but is also human.
Jane, no.
Jane's a vampire.
Jane's a vampire. Everyone in the Volturi who wear like the robes.
Okay.
Why would you think that she's a human?
Vampires.
I thought he made some comment about her being a human.
That's like a random woman who walks past and is like, she basically goes like, "Oh, hi."
We need to restart the podcast. I don't know if you need to. You didn't like.
No,
she has red eyes.
I love Dakota Fanning's performance in this.
She's very
she's standing there with that smirk.
Yeah.
She looks so this is my favorite performance of hers till Ripley.
I really love the sadism of the Volturi. I think that's one of the best aspects of them, and also the Michael Sheen performance is just so.
And the other two guys sitting in the back, like
and they know like
Felix.
Speaking of the MCU, actually, H, you make a great point because this becomes that. No, not even that. More like just that this is for the book readers like a post-credit scene. They know who the Volturi are. They know that the Volturi are going to become these bigger characters. You know that Jane has her brother, I think his name's Alex, who has the kind of inverse power of hers. And so this is kind of that establishing what we know is going to happen in Eclipse and then later on Breaking Dawn. So it really is in line with that kind of MCU setup. Yeah, exactly.
It is interesting. I mean, that the fight scene that they have to me felt like I had a flashback to Rosie, your I think second appearance for us with Aquaman, right?
Oh yeah. In the lower living room, I love that scene.
Yeah, and this like has this big fight with slow motion and exploding stairs and stuff as they're getting slammed around. But when Bella says to stop and that she's going to sacrifice herself, this was the one part that didn't work for me. Like Sheen seems so surprised you'd sacrifice yourself for him, like. Doesn't that happen all the time with vampire thralls? Like, aren't they constantly
throwing themselves?
I would
servants
say
on who will do anything to be made a vampire.
They literally did just say that she was like, she's literally working for them and just bringing people to get murdered all the time because she wants to be a vampire.
Right.
Exactly.
Maybe
But she wasn't
senses
ordered
some
to
kind of love or like he didn't order her. She's not his familiar. He can probably tell Edward does not have her in a thrall or fascinated.
Okay. This is This is the whole point of why they're ultimately defeated, is that they can't understand what true love feels like and what it's like to sacrifice yourself for another, and that's why they are powerless in the face of their situation.
I also do like the just kind of like general implication by Stephanie Meyer throughout this whole series of how stupid humans are, because literally something I did not remember from this that I thought was so funny. They are there on a day where humans are celebrating the fact that historically they got rid of vampires, and the town is just run by the vampires. And I was like, that's hilarious. Literally all in red. Like,
it's pretty great.
There's a lot of really silly stuff that feels fun. But I agree with you, H. Like emotionally, like narratively, I did come away at the end of this just being like, yeah, okay, like Bella's obsessed with Edward. Like, Michael Sheen, why does that impress you? Like, what? I like that he's just obsessed with them. I always think that's an interesting route to go. But I don't necessarily think they sell it in this moment of like why he cares so much. Apart from the fact she is, not able to be influenced by his powers. But I also want to say, I have to say, this is actually cracking me up because Jeff is like in our Discord in X-Ray Vision, and we are friends, so this is like a double Discorder. I did not know that he was such like a Twilight detail hound, because he's been dropping some really good stuff in here. I think it was him. Yeah, this is like where he made a great point where Bella's powers are so strong, Michael Sheen can't use it, none of the Volturi can. But earlier in the high school, when Jasper uses his feeling control powers, she can feel him doing it to her, and she says, "No fair, Jasper," So, like, is Jasper way more powerful? Like, I think it's just, again, a silly contradiction. But I love the fact that we have such a positive and, like, deep community here, that these are things that are getting talked about in the Discord. Like, people are here to talk about the realities of vampirism and powers in Twilight, and I love it.
I think one of the most interesting vampires in the Volturi is the grumpy one who's not Michael Sheen.
With the long hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Because he like, he like has this like world weary, like sort of like regret, or like just like, oh, this is just like all too tedious. Like like how are we still doing this bullshit? And I really like that aspect of him. I think the Volturi are just like super interesting.
They are an interesting, interesting lore.
Idea. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun to have some lore, and after like being into Anne Rice and stuff, you can see how this would. How this stuff is much more interesting than just the hour and a half spent pining in force.
Yeah.
I do want to call out, so let me just a couple of quick honorable mentions. So first of all, she's gone from the Scooby Gang forever, and then she comes back. It takes Mike like 10 seconds to creep, and I'm like,
I hate Mike.
Mike
and then
sucks.
he's got is it throwing up when he goes to see the movie, the classic movie Face Punch?
I love Face Punch.
Let's do this is the tagline.
Incredible.
Let's do that.
Also, I have to say I'm glad you brought that up, because I do think that's one of the best like sequences in the movie, is like the awkward triple date again. Like, like it's not meant to be the three of them. They've both got problems. She's in the middle, and she can see they both got their hands upturned, like they're trying to hold hands. Legit, I went to see Freddy vs. Jason when I was a teenager, and that happened to me, where there was two guys, and I was like, said the hands, like what's happening? Like, I thought that again on rewatch works really well, and I do think it's funny that they kind of, that is also where you establish Jake's first transformation. But yeah, Mike, Jessica, she still thinks they're together, clearly. Because she is like, you want to go to the movie theaters? Like, Mike sucks. Boo, Mike.
Mike sucks.
Mike
sucks.
Actor,
boo this man.
Now a very prolific Lifetime villain. The actor
really?
who plays Mike. He shows up in them all the time now. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
I do really love Anna Kendrick deconstructing zombie movies. That's a little fun.
Ooh, she's so good in this.
She's great.
Stuff.
Yeah,
she's having fun, and her career was absolutely exploding in the best possible way.
And she still has to come back and shoot these like 7 scenes
and get paid a bunch of money, I'm sure.
It's funny.
All right, so any quick honorable mentions?
We hit my points
you
along
guys-
the way. We had definitely hit all mine. I like
we
Wolves.
missed?
I like the Volturi. I think the movie's a little problematic. That's my overall review.
The movie's definitely problematic. I think we hit on most of the big stuff. Charlie not getting a starring role this time. We know that the girls love Charlie. There's big Charlie
he's
fandom.
good.
He's great.
Good every time.
Still,
Yep.
always good. Yeah, I think it's a weirdly slow one because a lot of it is set up for this kind of ultimate, love triangle that was so big post Hunger Games and that kind of space, the YA space. But yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to see how this one is perceived as the years go on, because it does feel it doesn't have the catchy style of the first one, but it is setting up a lot, and the world building is interesting, but it's very problematic. If you bullet point describe what happens in this movie, people will say, what are you talking about?
Is in the book, does it have the same kind of like the big showdown, the big pivot to the big showdown in Italy?
It does still really... no, that is the Italy stuff is real. That happens in the book. That is like, you have to go and you have to stop him stepping in the sun, and
it's pretty faithful to the book.
Faithful, and it ends the same way, where at the end, and I will say, I think one of the things I love the most about this that they do not do anymore, the end of the movie is he says, you have to marry me, right? He's like, you're going to marry me.
So,
then they do the ADR, marry me, Bella, and they do the ADR as it goes black, and then the credits roll, and I was like, that's really good. I was like, we got to have more kind of like breathy, like exclamations, and the audience would definitely.
I remember the reaction in the theater
Must have been crazy
on that line delivery, and the place went
it went bonkers,
fucking nuts.
It was a fun movie to see on opening release weekend, because
all
like
of
people
these movies, like the response again. MCU trends that it was kind of early setting up is like, these were the kind of movies where people were screaming and clapping and when there's or booing, and
they didn't have the mid credits reveals or anything like that, but it was still like, they knew what they were doing.
It's
amazing,
it's good stuff, and setting up, obviously, like at this point they know that's what's going to happen. So, and again, guys, this is now, but it's March. It's the end of March, so they have known each other for a year and probably been in the same place for maybe 6 months at this
very,
point.
very little.
Total.
Crazy.
Jason, who would Tilda Swinton play?
I mean, I think the long-haired, grumpy vampire of the Volturi. Obviously, she could also play the Michael Sheen part. She could be any vampire, basically.
Let's get Jasper. Let's get Jasper out of here.
Oh, I'd love that.
That would be good.
I would like to see a version
Jasper
where
does suck, man.
Jasper is the worst. Like, what? Yeah. Same problem with True Blood. Bill the vampire, he is also a Confederate soldier.
Yeah.
How about you just be on the Union side, guys?
Well, and he's supposed to be the love interest against Alexander Skarsgård, which is just like completely
you know what? In real life, who did Sookie Stackhouse get married to?
I know.
So,
but like maybe only because Alexander Skarsgård wasn't available. Like,
that's
I don't
true.
know.
I mean, the
Incidentally, Rosie,
I never finished it.
Where are you on this Pillion movie that's coming?
I'm so excited for it. Okay, I just want to say I back you up on Jasper. I think also I'm going to say a different person. So I think Tilda Swinton could play Alice as well. I would like esoteric, like silly, but yes,
ethereal.
Pillion new. They're calling it a dom-com. Apparently, it's very up. I'm hearing it's Baby Girl for the boys, and I loved Baby Girl. I thought it was fucking great. I love movies.
I didn't see that either.
Oh, it's so good, guys. And now Nicole Kidman is free and divorced. I think she's going to keep making great
BDSM movies.
Great, weird, sexy movies. And I think it looks really good. Apparently, I'm seeing a lot of people basically being like, this is the heartwarming movie you are not expecting. Baby Girl is not that. Baby Girl is existentially depressing, but has an ending with that offers hope. I love it. I think I love this for the kid who played, Harry Dudley Dursley and Harry Potter.
Dursley, really having a moment talking about buying butt plugs.
Yeah, we did learn actually on our podcast, because we covered the trailer because we thought it looked great. We did learn that he has actually been in some really interesting stuff. He did a queer horror musical, and so he obviously has good taste. And
Dursley's glow up.
Glow up. And honestly, I also, there's a line in the trailer that I thought was really great, where he's like showing a friend a picture of Alexander Skarsgård, and obviously it's Alexander Skarsgård. So the woman's like,
how did you get
this guy? And he goes, I have a, he's like, I have a, it's really, it's
capacity
like
for devotion.
No, or like a, it's like he the way it's phrased is so well. It's like, I have a skill for devotion or something.
Yeah.
Like, and I was just like, oh, okay. I was like, I'm loving this. Like, feels weird. And I like that it seems like it's going to be a kind of feel-good rom-com. Like, and also Alexander Skarsgård is so sexy. I'll watch him in anything.
Yeah, that part's definitely true.
We'll keep our eyes. We'll keep our
eyes.
It
looks great. It looks great.
Guys, can we do some quick voicemails?
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to bang these out. Here is our first voicemail coming from across the pond.
Hello, Bogpod.
Hey, Bogpod.
Hello, Bogpod.
Hey, Bogpod. Hello, Bogpod. Hey, Bogpod. Bogpod.
Bogpod.
This is more than the pond.
G'day. I'm pulling a Kev and recording my voicemail in the urban sprawl.
Ambient noise.
New Moon is a fantastic movie, really high caliber stuff. Love it. I love it to death. I love all those movies. They're just a blast. If you had to have a ghost version of someone following you around, giving you ominous advice, Edward, who would it be, and what would the advice relate to?
Yeah.
On another note, speaking of the caliber of movie we're covering right now, like if we're covering New Moon, surely that opens up the floodgates to movies of a similar appeal.
Okay.
You know what kind of movies I'm talking about, right?
What are you talking about?
Like Batman and please don't ban me.
The dream. I'm sorry, I do agree. Batman and Robin is objectively as good as New Moon, if not. It's actually better. It's less problematic, guys.
That's great. Great voicemail. I love when Ethan calls in, man. What a joy it is to have Ethan in our life.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I would have Ghost Barack Obama.
Of course you would.
Following me around, offering advice.
Okay, does that mean, are you threatening to
break up with him?
Like make Barack Obama a ghost? I'm worried about that.
No. Secret Service, please don't show up.
Please, yeah.
No. Because Edward's not dead.
Okay,
he's undead.
You would have you would have Barack Obama would be like your Jiminy Cricket.
Just like offering good advice. He did this. Barack Obama, in the course of the 2024 election, did this YouTube interview where it's a guy who is a barber. He cuts people's hair. That's his YouTube channel. I forget his name. I forget the channel, but he went and he did it with Obama. And he's a young guy, and Obama's just offering him kind of fatherly advice, and it's very casual and very it is. If you want to know what it's like to have a personal conversation with Barack Obama, this YouTube interview is not even a facsimile of it. Is exactly it. It is just it's just he's got very good advice. He's very concerned about making sure that people make good choices in their life. He has he has a notion about how people what the good life looks like, and it's what it means to be a good person, and he has a good way of expressing it. It would be great to have that around at all times. Anytime there was I'd probably stop playing Warcraft if I had that, to be honest.
I like that. That's what's missing. It's you just need Barack Obama in the ear.
Yeah.
Just that's kind of what podcasts are, I guess, in a way.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, Jason, I've got you in my ear all the time.
Yeah,
exactly. But I don't offer good advice. I don't I'm not keeping you safe, or I'm not keeping you from jumping off cliffs.
When I think about that, I'm I would want to replicate some kind of. I'm always thinking Studio Ghibli, Kiki. But the thing I really love about those movies is more so the music. So I'm
Joe
I wouldn't.
Hisaishi.
Obviously an icon. But I think for me, my favorite Ghibli movie is Whisper of the Heart. And I think if I could have a ghostly apparition, I would just have Olivia Newton-John singing her cover of Country Roads, because that's what opens the movie. And
that's
I love that cover. I love John Denver. I love John Denver and the Muppets. But that cover, it was from a Japanese B-sides album that she did. And every time I hear the opening, and I can kind of envision that beautiful Ghibli kind of Tokyo, that I think would stop me from making a lot of bad decisions if I could just hear her be Country Roads. I'd be yes, Olivia, I'm okay. I'm
here.
Life's
I'm doing
worth
okay.
living. I'm not going to jump off the cliff recreationally.
Amazing. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you, Ethan,
Thank
much.
you, Ethan.
You rule, Ethan.
Here's our next voicemail.
Baby.
Yeah.
Listen.
We missed her in the group chat.
We're getting all the good ones. We're getting all the friends.
Hi, friends. This is Listen. Thrilled to see that we are covering the Twilight series and with the incomparable Rosie Knight. And as this gets us all closer and closer to Breaking Dawn Part 2, the arguably best film of the entire series. So what team am I on? You know the answer. I am Team Bella. And it is such a treat in this film that we get to see her shimmering skin of a killer. Vampire Bella is the butterfly waiting to be awoken after several frustrating films where the fire of her agency to make her own decisions almost goes out into smoke. In New Moon, we get to meet the Volturi, who add an insane layer of lore and fancy dress into a very simple vampire and teenager romance. Who cares if the Volturi are consistently an impotent antagonist? They are fun, and they are fancy. Twilight's gender politics have always been a mess, and yet I love Arrow's fascination with Bella. The prize he can never win, the one that got away. For all his formidable power and resources, she is never moved by force or desire to formally take his hand and join his team. And that is certainly a decision she is able to make and keep. XOXO, Listen.
It's a great voicemail.
I mean, listen, when are we doing the Rosie and Liz and Twilight deep dive?
Exactly.
We'll get the cast back, guys. I think we got to do it. Like, what a great read, because it's true.
It's a great read.
Bella's agency is basically nowhere in this, but she always says fuck the Volturi.
Yeah.
I'm constantly impressed by K-Stu's willingness to go cross-eyed.
This is the ultimate cross-eyed K-Stu as well, when she wakes back up from bumping her head. Legendary. She's so iconic.
Pretty wild. All right, here's the next voicemail.
This is your brother, Animal Mother.
Hey.
All right, here we go.
Oh, Count Dracula, allow me to introduce Professor Abraham Van Helsing of London University. He is a doctor of rare diseases as well as theology and philosophy.
And gynecology.
Oh, I didn't know you had your hand in that too.
Jesus.
Hello, animal friends and animal lovers. What is there to say about the teen romantasy franchise Twilight? If you were bewitched by Kristen Stewart's confusion, Arpad's anemic good looks, or by the vacant puppy eyes of Taylor Lautner, I reckon plenty. If you didn't, we might instead talk about Mel Brooks's Dracula, Dead and Loving It.
I've never seen that.
This 90s farce employs endearing goof Leslie Nielsen as a suave creature of the night, clumsily aided by the Dragon Slayer himself, Peter McNichol. It's very raunchy, delightfully stupid, and a bit too cheesy to be one of Brooks's top-tier comedies. Risking a stake to the heart, this spoof of a classical monster is, dare I say it, still a better love story than Twilight. Let's get the wolf out of the bag. What other classic monster would benefit from skin sparkles? Thank you all. See you at Vampire Baseball, and keep the change, you filthy animals.
How about orcas?
Oh!
Skin sparkly orcas.
Saying, like,
They're having a moment.
They're having a moment. They're out. They're knocking over a boat. They're sparkly. I love it. I'm going to go for Creature from the Black Lagoon because I love him. So I would see like a, imagine like a green, glittery kind of creature. Maybe like I would watch like a YA monster romance. Trust me, I've been pitching it for years. I'm like, guys, this is what the kids want. DC Comics, like fingers crossed. Exactly, like a Swamp Thing YA webtoon or something like that. What would you do,
I was going to go Godzilla, just as
I love it.
As an homage to you.
Diamante Godzilla.
Exactly.
There's
Diamante
Godzilla. Be
Godzilla.
a Swarovski Godzilla bracelet before we know it. Like he's having a moment.
Yeah.
No kidding. Amazing. All right, here is our next voicemail. Mr. Java. All right. Do it, Java.
She had a heart of gold. She dreamed of Edward and she thought she would grow young. Just barely out of school. Werewolf, he come to town. If she's a vampire, then no one takes her down. No, she went back to Forks. No, not gonna leave.
Twilight musical coming soon.
Yeah.
18 and life to go. 18 and life to know. Your crime is time. Vampire. 18 and life to go.
Vampire.
18 and life to go.
Oh, it's so good. Woo! Fucking rocks.
Hey, everybody. I just gotta know. If you had to be a vampire, a werewolf, what would you choose? Or would you choose some other monster? Would you stay 18 forever? I don't know. Let us know what you think. But you have to give an answer. Because we took a poll, and we gotta know. Bye!
Bye!
Oh, I've already been very clear. I am Team Werewolf for sure. I think being a wolf is awesome. It's been my longest fantasy since I was a small child. Like, it's the earliest fantasy I can ever remember. More than wanting to fly or anything, I wanted to be a wolf.
Wow. It was meant to be.
One day I will. I've not yet done it, but it's on my list to go to like a wolf sanctuary and just commune with the wolves.
You should do it. They have them in California. Loads of people I know have done that.
Yeah. I need to just go be with the wolves.
You gotta do it,
I think
man.
some of the guys for New Moon went down, or some of the puppeteers or whatever. But so in Interview with a Vampire, you have Kristen Stewart or Kristen.
Yes. The incredible actress who we all love, Kristen Dunst.
Yes. Kirsten Dunst. We have Kirsten Dunst showing you how often
Mrs. Jesse Plemons.
Yes, to be
love Jesse Plemons.
Mr. Kirsten Dunst. But so how awful it would be to be a child vampire.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like my choice would definitely be vampire. But now to be a 55-year-old vampire for eternity. Like, does that mean my shoulder would always be fucked?
Well, I'm trying to think about this. I do think, like, vampires have a level of, like, healing in general. I'm definitely... Look, I love the werewolf lore. That's cool, but I'm going vampire. And also, if you can hear me, vampires, I feel like I'm 37. If you catch me in the next 3 years, I'm still down. I'm still down.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be happy to look like this forever. I'm okay. But, like, ever since Lost Boys, when I first saw that, I was like, I'm in. Like, I'm drinking the blood. I'm jumping off the fucking bridge. Like, you got me, guys. I'm in. And then Buffy, obviously another big one.
I loved the scene as they're leaving the Volturi and the tourists are being brought in for the feeding frenzy. That was like a great moment of horror. And
that really works,
reminders that there actually is a horrible underside of what's happening.
Yeah.
That's largely waved away, and they're just these nice guys. All right, here is our next voicemail. The Truth Sayer.
Hey.
Hey-yo.
Hey, Alberia here for Twilight, New Moon. Before he was a brooding vampire, a cursed lighthouse keeper, emo Batman, Robert Pattinson was just a British prep school kid with a knack for making very strange decisions. For today's Truth Sayer, we're going to look at 3 stories from Robert Pattinson's pre-fame, non-Hogwarts school days. 2 of these are fiction. 1 is mischievously true. Time for the Truth Sayer. Number 1. At age 10, Pattinson smuggled 2 pygmy hedgehogs into his dorm room, hiding them in his sock drawer. One of them escaped, leading to a full-on panic by the headmistress at the school. Or is it number 2? In year 7, he staged a pudding-eating contest in the cafeteria, solely to see if his academic rival would puke in front of their shared crush. It didn't work. Or is it number 3? At age 12, Robert Pattinson was expelled from school after being caught stealing adult magazines from a local corner shop and selling them at a markup to his classmates. Which of those stories about young Robert Pattinson is actually true?
Pigs!
I'm saying the first. I'm saying the last one. I think it's the adult magazines. I would also want to say, I just want to clarify, and obviously Our truth sayer always knows the truth. But also, Robert Pattinson, known liar. He loves to tell a story that is a lie. So
that's true.
You know,
Really?
oh my God, it's so funny. When he was doing a movie after Twilight, one of the first movies he did was like Water for Elephants, and he was in a it's a circus setting, you know. And so he went around telling this terrifying story about how when he was a kid he saw a clown die at the circus, and it was a very famous viral moment. And he was just like, years later, he was like, not true.
And just bullshitting.
He just constantly always like making something up. But I think the last one, that sounds very British to me. I'm going the last one.
Yeah, let's see.
All right, were you able to spot the true story about a young Robert Pattinson? It's number 3. He really was expelled for running a preteen black market porno ring. A short-lived but lucrative enterprise, I guess, until the headmaster got involved. Not a great start for a guy who would eventually make Kristen Stewart jump off a cliff.
Yep.
Here ends the truth sayer.
God damn you.
Shout out Beria. He's all over Italy right now.
Yeah.
Channel is just like flush with great stuff. I don't know if he's been to Montepulciano yet.
He should go. It's great. It's a good time there.
He should go. Here is our next voicemail.
Skate Patch, hey, it's Kev here. You know, Sunday night I went to see the re-release of Avatar: The Way of Water, and it got me thinking. Whenever Avatar comes up in my circles online, the same people always say the same stuff.
No,
Pocahontas, Dances with Wolves, Blue Cat People. This is offensive.
Ferngully.
And it reminded me of the way that people treated Twilight fans back in the day.
Right?
No.
I guess you could say one nerd's sparkly vampire is another man's blue cat alien, at least in my eyes. Now, I know better these days than to just bring these things up. But invariably, Avatar or Megalopolis or anything will come up, and I have to just step away to let these 6 people get their catchphrases in. Because I have some time, I'll also say, go back to the club is one of them. Megalopolis.
Go back to the club. Go back to the club.
It just made me sad for people. Anyway, Avatar, Twilight, Megalopolis, they're all the same thing, and no one can dispute that. Kev's question, what are your problematic faves you know you can't bring up? Because the connections to them, it's a non-starter in conversation. It'll stop everything dead. I do want to say, please, nothing directly related to a crime or somebody who got canceled, if you can.
Yeah.
But that's up to you. Peace and love, and I'll talk to you all very soon.
I do.
Oh shit! Wait. Good example for me. Happiness by Todd Solondz.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that movie, so I feel
Once again, it's Kev's questions.
Killing it, Kev. As always, I'm going to say, look, I'm on this podcast that is ostensibly like a serious science fiction, fandom podcast, talking about Twilight. So I don't have any. Like, I will talk about
put it
anything.
out there.
That's like, for me, you mentioned a crime. That was legit. Like, the only thing I could think of was like an old British band that had a scandal. And even then, I don't rep them anymore anyway. But like, I think when it comes to like entertainment, I'm definitely of the mindset of like, I love like Tubi movies. I love Lifetime. I don't have anything. And honestly, I think this is also like a compliment and a shout out to people in LA, people I hang out with. I feel like there's also like no real taboo conversations like in those spaces, in the film space. Like, people are going to say that they like a Woody Allen movie sometimes, and then you're going to say, okay, let's have a conversation about it. Like, what works, what doesn't work, how separate can the artist really be when the art is about the thing they did, so I think for me, I can't really I don't think. Maybe some, what? I'll put one out there.
Well, hold on.
Go for it.
I could be pretty flexible, but I can't separate Joel Schumacher from Batman and Robin.
How dare you? No, you can't, because he is a gay icon, an out gay director. An out gay director.
Here is our final voicemail. We have 3 minutes for this voicemail and for me to be out the door.
I believe in us.
Stressful.
Skate Patch, hey, this is Corey calling from Austin, Texas, about Twilight 2 New Moon.
I'm so happy.
From 2000 and, hold on, I have to look, 2009. I did see this movie at one time. I don't really remember it. We're not going to rehash this whole Twilight business again.
Corey,
so I'm going to leave all the great VMs, all the other great VMers out there. For those not in the biz, VM stands for voicemail. Okay? Anyway, I hope you guys all love this film. It's definitely one that you guys had a blast with. All right, who will sit and play Werewolf Jacob? Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Love y'all guys.
Wow,
Bye.
this was legit. Like that was the voicemail I was hoping for and
That's
dreaming
great.
of. I was like, I know Corey. I was like, I feel like Corey's gonna call up and he's gonna tell her. And I was just so happy. Thank you, Corey. We appreciate you and all your great voicemails.
I would love to see Tilda with those deltoids, like just in general. Yeah.
It's muscle mummy season. I feel like we've got like Katie O'Brien. We've got these strong mums. I want to see Tilda with those trapezoids. I want to see muscle mummy Tilda. I feel like I could see it coming.
This is like the big thing in fitness that's changed in the last like 10 years is that like women, particularly women in their 30s and 40s, are like, I want to do strength training. Mm-hmm. So it's like it is the time. It is the time. It is the time for that.
I believe
there's definitely more women in the gym than
it's the market
in my gym. Guys, we did it.
I'm glad. I was worried about us. I was worried about us.
It happened. Rosie, what do you have to plug?
Oh, I just had an issue of Creep Show that is coming out. Creep Show Volume 4, Issue 1 from Skybound Entertainment with Oliver Odo. That was really good. You can listen to us on X-Ray Vision.
3 times a week, plus news.
Plus news, so 4 times a week. And, yeah, you can find me at anywhere like Letterboxd and all those places. At Rosie Marks.
In the Escape Hatch Discord.
Or in the Escape Hatch Discord, where I am in there a lot. Also,
yeah, you are.
The X-Ray Vision Discord,
we appreciate it.
We love you, Rosie.
Love you guys. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for indulging.
Thank
you, Corey.
Panic Room still waits.
Yes, so Panic Room. Maybe that's next.
Jason, what do you have to plug?
This new Warcraft Legion remix that just dropped, that's got me back into it. It's pretty good. Legion was a great X-Pack, and they've done a really fun thing where you get to re-experience it. So I'm gonna plug that, man. It's pretty strong. If you're interested in Warcraft, come join the Discord. You can join our guild.
Oh,
more obsessions.
Yeah,
really, more desire and people going cross-eyed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can happen. All right, let me hit stop.
We did it. Woo.